righty.
We are going
I'm
live.
ready.
Let's see here. It looks like, all right, we're good to go.
Okay.
Let me just
Alrighty.
do a couple technical things on this end. And I think we are all set. Okay. Whew. All right, everybody. We are so happy that you're here with us today. Madelaine and I are ready to talk to you about this Aries new moon.
Yes.
I am Amalia, Natalio with KarmicKindness. Joining me is Madelaine Parker, and we are going to share with you just the overarching energy of this Aries new moon. I'm going to give you a few of my little insights that have come through. Madelaine's going to talk about the astrology, and then we're going to go through each one of the 12 zodiac signs. Madelaine's going to give you the forecast for that sign, and I have some flower cards here that I'm going to be utilizing to share some flower energy. So, you know, we think about plants in terms of, oh, they're pretty, they create oxygen, they are nice to have on the earth, they're whatever, you know, whatever your thought is about plants. But plants carry a vibration and an energy that can be extremely supportive, can be medicinal, can be just having the energy in your space, or just connecting them with them by looking at a picture. Even just seeing the flower can bring a level of healing that you would be shocked to learn and understand. Yep. There's also elixirs right here, used where you use the essences of different flowers that you can literally ingest, and you can change your vibration and frequency from the inside out. So it's very, very magical and very, very cool. So I'll be sharing a flower for each one of the zodiac signs so that you can tune into that energy. There's a discount code in the description that you can use if you feel called to order any of the elixirs or the mists or the serums. I've been using them for a few years, and I can tell you they're unbelievable. Okay, so enough of that, laying the foundation for what we're going to be doing today. So we've got this new moon in Aries, which is the start. It's basically the zodiac new year. So it's almost like January 1st that most people celebrate in the 365-day Gregorian calendar. This is the zodiac version. The opening up of this Aries season is the start of something new. It's also happening the day after the spring equinox. So there's a lot of fresh, bright new beginnings energy. However, there's also this fiery energy of Aries, which can, so think about fire. Fire can create and fire can destroy. So it's how you utilize that fire. So with the fire, you might feel a little bit of frustration, but you might feel also a push. So it kind of depends on where you are on your journey. It is happening on March 21st at 1:23 p.m. Eastern. So that would be, what would that be? 11, 10. Yeah, 10:23 a.m. Pacific.
Yeah, 8. Oh, it's around 8 a.m. Pacific. 8:30 a.m. I think Pacific.
Right. I don't know if that would be right because we've got a 1:30, 1:23 p.m.
Oh,
Eastern.
is it? All right, -3. -3 hours. Is it 3 hours? 4 hours? 5 hours?
I think you're 3 hours behind. You're 3 hours behind. So I believe that would be 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 10:23 a.m. Pacific. So
yeah, okay. Well,
you're going to be
no, here it is at 11:51 a.m. The moon is at 1:42 Aries. So about 2 hours earlier is around 9 a.m. See, because it's about 2 degrees an hour.
Well,
or so. But anyway,
for Eastern,
that time.
1:20. I know it's 1:23 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
For sure. I know that for sure.
And we'll go with that. Sounds
yeah.
good.
So basically what the point is that it's a fresh start. You know, you think about spring being the day before, you have this new moon in Aries on the 21st. So there's a lot of this excitement around new beginnings and initiations and and clarity around direction. You know, as we're recording this, we're completing that Virgo full moon energy with the Pisces sun, Virgo moon. It's that watery, feminine, going into the depths. We've also got Virgo, goddess, healer, service, all mushed up together. And so we're completing that. And now we have some clarity. We're going to have even more clarity as we go forward. And so this period of time, this Aries new moon season, is a great time for you to really start to consider the bigger picture for yourself, your bigger goals, your bigger dreams. Think big and start to take steps and move towards that. And Madelaine's going to be sharing more about the other energies at play, the other planetary energies at play, and how this affects you. So if you are listening in, listen in for your sun, your moon, and your rising. You'll get a really pretty good sense of the story that's unfolding for you in this upcoming moon cycle. So Madelaine, take it away. Tell us all about this amazing Aries season.
Yes, the first thing to say is Happy New Year. It is the real, in my opinion, being that I am an astrologer, this is the official new year for me. So I feel the excitement of that. And the Aries energy always is the get up and go energy. It's the, if you know any Aries, they just suddenly like bounce out of their seats and fly out of the room, and you're like, what the hell? So we're really, that's the initial fire. When you light a match, and it's 0 degrees, which is like the most potent energy in the zodiac sign. It's the most potent energy of the Aries energy, which is the initiation energy. I mean, you just can't get more of that fire energy, sudden out of the blue, ideas coming to your mind. And this actually happened to me on Saturday with my friend. She came up from Port Elaine, local town nearby, and we just went nuts we're working on a journal, redoing a journal, and we just went bananas. And it's just like out of the blue, we just thought, she's Aries. She's coming, gets in her car and drives up here and like, we're doing this. It was a lot of fun. But so prepare you for spontaneous bursts of initiation, because Aries is the initiation energy. And we did, whenever we have the sun at the end degrees of the water signs in Pisces, that is that more reflective time, that more where we're really sort of becoming aligned with what we do, what we are fired up about. You connect with that, and then boom, come out of the gate like bam, like you were saying, clarity there.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to be very positive. There's a little bit of a tricky thing as well in this full moon, which I don't know how it's going to play out, but we'll see what your flower cards say.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. I mean, we have a Mars squaring, and Mars is at the end degrees of Gemini. It's in outer shadow, so it doesn't necessarily have to be confrontation or shall we say conflict. It could be played out in the war. There could be wars, or could be there could be things playing out in the global energies that are a bit combative, but it could also really show up as action. Squares represent Mars in astrology, so a lot of times when I see squares, because I study the squares often to try to get to the bottom of these, you'll find that you're just motivated and ready to go, and there's just a lot of energy and there's a lot of action. So there's a range of how these squares can play out for you. But the predominant energies of this new moon are very positive. Shall we share the chart? Are we ready for that?
Oh, sure. Let me hang on. Let me give you some permissions here.
Gracias.
Do so. All right, there you go.
All right. Share the screen. All right. So here we are with the moon in northern Idaho. At 11:51 a.m. It is not exact. I can't make this go exact. So, but we go with the sun. The sun is at the right degree.
Okay.
I just slap the moon on top of that. So what we're looking at is what we're looking at on this new moon is we've got some really interesting things happening with Pluto. We've got Venus and the nodes conjoining in the sign of Taurus. So Venus is in a very, what the heck? What did that just do? What did I just do? Oh, sorry, guys.
That's okay.
What happened? Okay, maybe if I go back, I'll find it. Go back. Okay, so what's going on? We've got Venus and Venus and the nodes are conjunct. They're at 4 degrees Taurus. And what does that mean? That basically is a very this is what I was talking about with you earlier before we started, about how we're all shifting onto our missions and into our true callings. So when you have the nodes involved, that's our true destiny. And so when we're in our true destiny, we're really stepping up to our missions. We're becoming clear as to what they are exactly. Let's put the nodes in here. Shoot, I gotta be really. Oh, there it is. Okay, good. So I gotta really pay attention to this when I do this, so I don't. Did I do it right? Sorry, I'll be right there. One more thing I want to get rid of.
Okay, yeah, just
Yeah,
get it
yeah.
set up. We're all good.
I got to move the right tab. Okay, good. There we go. Okay, good. Okay, good. So what we're looking at, there was the squares I was talking about. The moon and the sun are going to be together during this period at exact that time that you mentioned, and it's going to square the Mars right here. So that is a challenge. That could be considered a challenging aspect, but oftentimes I find, and of course it depends on your own personal chart as to how that square will hit you, but often I find the dominant energies are really the more dominant experience, as it were. So we've got this trine and a sextile, and we've got the moon trining Saturn, and we actually do have the nodes and Venus kind of making a sextile to Saturn too. It's not showing up here, but there's a Venus conjunct Juno, Venus conjunct the nodes. So, and the moon is sextiling Pluto. So the moon and the sun are sextiling Pluto, which is great for finances. So all this bad news that we had last week about the money in the banks and everything, everyone's going to see that whatever news came out last week that was like confusing, didn't really make sense, you're going to see that it wasn't something good is going to come out of it for everybody, or for the people anyway, because we've got Pluto moving into Aquarius right at that point where something very significant occurs. And with Pluto going into Aquarius, it's a beneficiary to the people. And when Pluto went into Capricorn in 2008, it was the banks had a similar thing happen, and the banks, they saved the banks from the taxpayer money. This time, other way around. Awesome. So now we're seeing new paradigm shifts coming in. This new moon, powerful new moon at that 0 degree, launching our new missions, supported financially by Pluto. I mean, this is fantastic. Then we have Mars. So whatever, sometimes the squares can indicate a shift in direction. So we're going to talk about that when we go through all the signs. But that trining and sextiling, trining Saturn is a very positive. This is great for the people. This is empathy. The arts are going to take off again. This is going to be great for the arts, by the way. I'm really encouraging anybody with any talent in the arts to just launch that journey for yourself, because I think with Saturn in the 9th house is supportive for the arts, in my opinion. I hope that's what happens. And we've got Venus. So Venus is, during this new moon, is at 5 degrees Aries, and Pluto is almost at 1 degree. So it is a wide sextile, but it's a favorable angle, and the nodes are at 5 degrees 58. What day are we on? Okay. Yeah, so it's a wide sextile to Saturn, but the nodes are going backwards. The numbers are going down for the nodes. So eventually the nodes are going to square Pluto, but the nodes are going to sextile Saturn. So this is going to be an intense time, but that's coming in a little couple weeks down the line from now. So we won't get into that too much now, but we are really starting a new paradigm, a new chapter, a big, we're seeing a new generation of people in their Saturn returns coming out, and the new workforce, and how they're going to change the world. They have a whole new energy about them. They're very different. They're more empathic. They're more laissez-faire. They're more kick back. It's more, they're very artistic, almost all of them. Anybody with a Saturn and a water sign is very artistic. Most musicians have Saturn in water. So there's going to be a lot of musicians here. Pisces is a very musical, artistic energy. They're almost always artists that I find Pisces. So, so we're really looking at a much, I really like how we're evolving. I think we're really tired of polarizing with our fellow man. We're really going to galvanize with Pluto in the 8th house. I'm sorry, Pluto in Aquarius. It's not in the 8th house. It depends on where you live as to what house it will be. We've really worked through some fears of survival with the Pluto in Capricorn. We've all worked on a lot of karma. We're really ready to, with that Venus and the nodes conjoining, even if they're not directly aspecting any of the other planets, the fact that they're together at that point is extremely poignant, because we're really looking at union between masculine and feminine coming together to launch projects and missions and shall we say independent projects, as they were, to change the world for the greater good, you know. And it happens through a union of the dual energies. That's how it works. In fact, that's why we were made man and woman, to create expansion through the union of those two forces. So we're looking at that with the nodes involved. So the nodes are going to tilt and influence this new moon into the place of unifying into your project, into your mission, into your real reason for being here during this incredible time, into this paradigm shift, where we're going to shift into an awareness of the 5th dimension. Aquarius is the 5D. It's about astrology. It's about understanding that that we are magical beings again. We're waking up to this. You know, the higher dimension. Remember we were talking right before. I was sitting next to a man who was a boat builder, and I was asking him. I said, "So what? You know, he wants to teach people because he knows so much about it. He's an elderly man, lived a long life, really knows his craft." And I was like, "Well, what would be the first thing that you taught somebody?" And he says, "I would teach them to. The first thing you have to do is you have to see the boat finish to end. You have to see every part of it in your mind. You have to see the back to the front. You have to break it all down. You have to know the other side. You have to know the under it. You have to have it complete in your mind before you build anything. And then you have to break it down apart." And I was just like, whoa, that is such the message of where we're headed. I mean, we're waking. That is how we manifest. And that is the power of, shall we say, holding the vision. And so we're going to be waking up to the power, how we are powerful in manifesting through the higher dimension, which is the imagination, which is the unmaterialized, the unmanifest. And instead of trying to manipulate the 3rd dimension to manifest, which is a part of manifesting, I'm not saying we don't do that and we don't act, but we really are shifting with Pluto into the Aquarian energy. We really are waking up to a modern future reality that we can envisage, and that we know that that's how we are going to materialize. Like, we're no longer fighting the status quo and the already. We're going to just visualize the new. And that's where we're going. We don't care about the past anymore. We don't care about what the past was anymore. We don't care about what happened or whatever. We're going forward now with something exciting, new, and vibrant, and reinvigorating, because the Aries New Moon at 0 degrees is literally the sperm of life. I mean, we are literally creating a new life. Something is going to come alive in everybody's chart. Is going to sprout in spring like a big bud of leaves, you know, like a little flower or bud is going to pop open here and bring abundance and guide, you know, the flower that pops up for you is, can't believe I'm talking about that because we're going to do the flower card. But the flower that pops up for your sign or whatever is an indicator of your nodal, your purpose here. So, and we are age of Aquarius. It is about the people stepping forward. Every time Pluto goes into the sign of Aquarius, the people restore, our powers restored to the people. That was when Bastille Day happened last time. And then the time before that, I think, is the Magna Carta. So it's when the power shifts to predominantly to the people. So what does that mean? Well, that means that we got to step up and change the world. And we become awakened to the fact that we have the power to do so. We are fully capable. through the powers of visualization and working with the higher dimension. We can change what exists by not fighting it and having conflict. It is a very passive energy, by the way. This revolution that's occurring is a passive. It's an empowered where we don't fight, where we wake up to that as being the way we were broken down. So we step into a unification. Aquarian is a galvanized energy. It's the people together creating a powerful change through positivity, through knowing how to create, being empowered as manifestors, as individual manifestors. That's what 11 mean, and Aquarius is the 11th house, which is 11, which is people held up by their relationship with the higher dimensions and God, or whatever you call God. It can be your higher self, your God self, your higher mind. We're no longer aligned to people or a system, or we're aligned with our higher self. That's Aquarius, the 11th house. So we're initiating our Aquarian missions to save the earth, all of us, in some way. We're waking up to that being the thing that makes us happy. It's going to make us happy. And that's what we're here for, to experience this. We cleared karma. We cleared a bunch of karma with Saturn in the last 5 years, Pluto and Capricorn. Everybody's been through it. There's nobody, I don't think, got out of here alive during that period. You know, all our egos have been smushed for the highest good of all. So now we're entering the birthing period of a new vibrant reality, that we're making this new out of the canon beginning. And it's the way nature works. We've got the it's spring. You're going to see all the little grass buds and things sprouting up everywhere. So that's the metaphor in our own life as well. So just to cap it down, sort of round it all off, we've got this nodes coming together, which means people are stepping forward into their missions, and it's in the sign of Taurus, which is really strong energy for Venus. And the nodes in Taurus is around health paradigm, shifting the health paradigm. We are looking at futuristic health solutions that are different from what really we're looking at energy healing as being the main source of people waking up to their vibrations being what determines your attraction rate. So with Uranus, with the nodes in Taurus, we're waking up to a new health paradigm, and Uranus is there, so it has a lot to do with modern technologies as well. So like infrared machines and all kinds of interesting things, and float tanks, but we're taking our frequency seriously, our health seriously, and then we've got the nodes, so we're coming together in our destined financial, because when you're on your mission, it is financially abundant. It is. So this is a very financially abundant, because Venus is so happy in Taurus, and the nodes are meeting there. I mean, that's awesome. And then we have the moon sextiling Pluto, this whole sun, this whole nation sextiling Pluto, and Pluto in Vedic means the riches. So potentially that's a very good money transit for many people. So, and even the system, because we also have a wide sextile to Saturn, and we have the Mars trining Saturn. So this is good. I mean, I have reasons for positivity, but again, the square is there, so there's potential for conflict or disagreements or changing of directions or ending certain, we are coming out of endings with Saturn in that early degree there, but with this 29-degree Pluto, we're really wrapping up old karmic patterns, old karmic tendencies. So we're wrapping up we're ending that paradigm and beginning. So we're seeing like an in-between phase of the ending one and the other coming in like that. And we're initiating the new one, because you can't just go kaboom. It's like, you got to start initiating the next thing so that you've got somewhere to go forward to. And so the sun and everything, all these planets, so we're going to have the sun and moon in Aries, Venus there, Mercury's in Aries, Chiron's in Aries. This is a busy time in Aries energy for everybody. So these new beginnings are going to initiate busyness, proactivity, energy. Depending on where Mars is in your chart, you're going to feel it's going to be on my ascendant, so I'll be very energized. I can already feel it. I got a lot of energy right now. I'll get back to working out. I've been a bit lazy. We're not working out. So, in the last month, but anyway, so yeah, it's going to be good. I think it all looks really great.
let's dive into Aries and see, let's
Okay.
start going into each one of the signs and see what's going on for everybody.
Yeah, let's take a look. I mean, when the notes go into Aries later, I mean, there is potential for, conflict in the world and stuff. I don't want to be such a happy person all the time, but or I don't know if that's the right. I am ruled by Jupiter. My sun is Sag, so I do tend to be a little bit on the optimistic side. So there is potential for conflict and battles or wars coming up, flaring up, but I don't think they're long because none of the major planets have any very negative squares going. So to me, I don't think it's going to, I think maybe things are ending, wars are ending, but I don't know. I like to think that. Okay, so let's start with Aries, of course. So you guys, this is in your first house. You guys are get up and go. You guys are on fire. It's just like, watch out, get out of the way of an Aries person right now. Do not get in the They're going to have this entire moon and sun right behind them, like a jet propulsion lab, like a jet, like a rocket. Yeah, let the fire go, Aries. Fire up. It's my Jupiter. So, that's fun. That's a good energy. So it's hard for me to, I mean, really everything we just talked about, just all on Aries. You're going to have a very powerful experience, a new beginning, but I can't, it's possible there's conflict because you've got Mars squaring you, so it's possible you've got like, you're going to break, you're going to break through rigid-minded. That's what's going to happen for Aries. They're going to break through a limited way of perceiving how they need to go forward. And they're going to kind of not think so much because Aries can be very, sometimes to their detriment, they can be impulsive and it doesn't necessarily change their mind like 3 days later. But I don't think that's the case in this time. I think Aries are going to be, whatever fires you up right now, Aries, I think is in alignment. And I do think is something to jump in on. I think it's going to happen whether I tell you to or not. I think you're just doing it. So Aries are really having a whole new beginning in their rebirth. They're going to lead us into the new paradigm. They are. The Aries are the leaders, fearless. They've cleared a lot of karma and they are ready, and they're ruled by Mars, and they're going to change their minds because Mars is in Gemini. They're going to have a major mind change, major flip. What do you get?
Well, the card went flying under my desk. So hold on a second while I go retrieve it.
That's the energy for Aries, no doubt about it.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so it's interesting. You're talking about this fiery energy of Aries. However, I think it needs to be softened with a little bit of
medicine.
Yes. So this is pink magnolia. This is talking, activates self-care and taking care of yourself. So, if Aries, you're these get up and go people, that's great. Optimize the energy, but also remember that you can't get up and go constantly, that you are going to have to take some time for yourself, integrate some of this energy, integrate some of the information, the lessons, and be able to, let me see what what it magnifies.
You want to know? May I just jump in really quick because I don't want to interrupt you, but this is an interesting thought. I think that's coming out for Aries before this transit, so they do chill out, so they have a moment of rest before this. But go ahead. It may be.
However, this also is protection from burnout. So that could very well be part of what the story is for Aries.
Yeah.
Be careful. You've got all this energy and you have the cosmos supporting you. You have the cosmos behind you, but that you're still a human in a physical body that does need rest and care. And so
make sure my Aries friends take care and rest.
Yes, just don't overdo it. Remember to take care of yourself and value your needs as much as everyone else's, and take time for yourself. Usually most Aries you don't have to tell them to take care of themselves or focus on themselves. They've got that down pretty well. But just be careful of burnout and take care of yourself during this period of time. So a little.
It's a question as to how selfish should Aries be on this new moon. What does that card say? That they should go very, very selfish? Because Aries, actually the selfish energy is not bad. It's actually, Aries are supposed to be selfish because they are designed, it's designed that an Aries would be selfish, and what they would be selfish to do would be good for the world. So kind of a weird way.
Yeah. Well,
But
this card's basically saying that they need to value their needs as much as everyone else's.
Okay.
So it's in alignment with what you're saying about Aries in general,
Okay.
their overall energy is Aries. Okay, so Taurus, let's see what's happening with.
Wow. Yeah, you guys have
bulls.
this new moon. So remember, this new moon is a cuspy energy. So you really do want to look at your both houses and see which way it kind of resonates and plays out more. Does it play out more? Like, for instance, for Taurus, this new moon is going to play out in your 12th and 11th house. So it's right at the beginning of your 12th house. So, oh, yeah. So, I mean, that's an interesting thing. That's almost like you're going to go more, you're going to take time to really, it's interesting because I do know a Taurus person I can see doing this, really going major introvert to really find out what you really do. I think Taurus might be a little bit, they taking a month off or a month to really evaluate their true vision. Like, they're not going to act until this might be the one sign that doesn't just jump out of their chair at this point. Or you do get clarity now and you do get some introversion time and it really connects you and you do jump out of your chair and you know exactly what it is and you're fired up and you just can't stop, because that's what these energies are going to be. That's what happened to me with that journal with my friend. We couldn't stop. And we had to, and she's Aries, and we had to think about her mother because her mother was with us. And we were just spending so much time. So we were like, okay, we got to stop because, her. It's interesting. But anyway, so Taurus, this is in your 12th house. My sister is Taurus, and she's going to be retiring in about a month. So that's kind of the energy, kind of like a retiring, taking time to sort of really evaluate, go deep, know what you're inspired about. And also, it is kind of a ending house. So you are wrapping up some kind of an ending, like my sister who's retiring. I see 1, 2, 3, 4 here. So you're wrapping up something, ending something, and you're gaining clarity at that. You remember, like when I was talking about the sun being in Pisces right before it goes into Aries, there's like a wrapping up right before a rebirth. And that's just going to be a little bit of a more intense time for Taurus going through that again, I think. But also potentially going on a retreat or going into the country or starting a retreat or initiating. Interesting, my Aries friend runs a retreat. She is initiating a retreat. So you could decide to initiate some kind of a retreat. You may get an idea. Actually, the 12th house is Piscean. You might get a download of your true mission, your calling. You may get that clarity. If it involves going out into the country, you may travel to the country to find something. Actually, funnily enough, my Aries friend, well, she's Aries. Why am I jumping to her? But anyway, I know an Aries person who's going to the country to maybe invest in a treat property.
Well, I can speak to Taurus energy of what you were talking about just then, because I was actually at an event yesterday, and there were some vendors, and there was just a synchronous connection that occurred between myself, one of the vendors, somebody that I was with, and another woman who happened to come in. So it was like the four of us just coming together, and it had to do with initiating a retreat. It had to do with, for me, initiating one in an international location, which I wasn't really looking at.
Wow, yeah, because the 12th house is faraway locations as well. Interesting.
Yeah, so that was being shown. And then I can also say that with my partner, my life partner, he's also I can feel the energy for him where there's a little bit more introversion of reflection around clarity around like what he's doing, where he's going, what does that look like? So it is that, and he's shifting though into more action oriented pieces. So there has been that some quiet, partially due to some health things happening, because that'll slow you down right there. You get sick, you stop often or slow down. And that for some, really can help. And he's Capricorn sun. So they are definitely like, go, go, go. I'm going to keep working. And, it really makes you go, okay, wait, I need to take a minute here and really just reflect. So I can't wait to hear what else you have to say, but the flower energy is definitely in alignment with what you've shared so far.
Oh, fun. Okay.
Yeah.
Did
Do you want
you
me to
say
share
it?
it now or do you want to say
Oh, yeah.
more?
Oh, I can't, I mean, I think we could go ahead and share it. I can't even remember where we were. So,
Okay. So,
oh, that's right. You were going through okay, yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
you had
Yeah.
mentioned the retreat and that taking
Mm,
action, and you said it might be intense, just getting clear on what
mhm,
your true vision is,
mhm.
where you're heading. So I don't know if there's anything you want to add to that too before I
Well,
share the card.
yeah, I do, because it's involving your guy. It's involving
Okay,
you. Because of
let's
the
hear it.
well, for you, this retreat, whatever Taurans are picking up here, it's involving their mate. And my Tauran sister is definitely retiring with her person. So yeah,
Ah,
we're looking at a new chapter, initiation, and it involves your destiny and your mate's destiny. This is co-destiny involved.
so curious. So for folks that are listening, let's just say, okay, they're in this place of change. A new chapter is happening with their person, with their
Mhm,
mate, with their partner,
mhm.
husband, wife, whatever it is. And does that mean this whole new chapter that's opening they're doing it together? Or could this also mean it's a whole new chapter for both of them and they're together, but they're kind of also doing separate things? It's not like they're doing a joint venture. It's that it's a new start for both of them in different ways.
Think, think Paul Newman and his wife, Joanne Woodward, started the organic food. They were,
Okay.
yeah, think, I mean, I'm thinking of musicians that they're going to line up, because I did actually quite a few readings this week with musicians who are lining up with their true half through a lot of karmic stuff, and they are their musical partners. Like, they're like, and now they're going to
Okay.
start. And they actually, from the reading, I tell them you're a musician, and they're jumping all in with all confidence. And it's involving the person that they consider to be their person is also a very talented musician. And it's like, wow, okay. It's like, so I think we're looking at a merging, but you may not see it, the merging right away. Maybe you're right. Maybe you launch your path, your half of the journey, and then the partner, it starts to happen, and then they join in and support. So we may not see the entire plant flourish. It may just become seeded into new. I mean, that is the seeding energy of the Aries, is like a seed. The 0 is a seed. So it's potentially just seeding, and maybe we don't see anything bud from this birth or the seeding until the full moon 6 months ahead, which is going to be Libra. Yeah. So maybe we don't see, like my journal I'm working with, maybe we actually get it out there and we're selling it in 6 months. It'll go fast. It could be very, very fast. So, and we're ending other situations. And it's funny because I'm throwing my old journals away. I mean, I only had a couple left because I sell them and I use them in my workshops and stuff. So I'm getting rid of that one. I'm tossing that one. We're redoing it all, but we're going to do it way better. And it's like, wow, I ended that whole chapter. I'm starting a new chapter. It's going to look different. It's fun. So, and, my partner that I'm doing it with could be the partnership I do it with the notes, so it doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic relationship, but also there's a more chances involving your divine mate, your
Right.
romantic.
Because of the
Actually,
Venus.
and that's why we have a masculine and a feminine. And it's not about gender, it's about energies. So it's like the energies create expansion through fusion of the two opposing energies, feminine and masculine. So we're looking at that joining now. Karma being cleared, energies being cleared. We've got a sextile to that Pluto, which is like the fears, or we've relieved that's what happens with Pluto. It's a death and transformational experience where you end a fear and then you become much more higher vibrational and you suddenly become wealthy. And I do think that people are going to be wealthy in this banking crisis. I think it's going to favor the people. So I say.
So, all right. So let's look at the flower energy for Taurus. So this is the bird's foot lotus, and this activates contentment, and the message is take charge. So it actually spoke to both of the things that you were talking about, to getting clear, and when you're clear, you feel a sense of contentment because you now know what you want to do. And then being able to take charge in that moment is pretty powerful. This dissolves worry, dissolves fear of the worst, dissolves seriousness, magnifies happiness, lightness, cheerfulness, and ease. And so with Taurus, you know, there might be a bit of an intense energy. You might have some retreat time, but you're going to have the clarity that you need to feel that sense of contentment, to be able to take that next step forward into whatever it is that you are, you know, you're meant to be doing with a partner, divine or business or whatever that may be for you. So pretty cool time.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
All right. So
I hope I'm not super just optimistic all the time. Like I because, you know, you don't want to be just a happy message all the time. And I don't want to miss out on anything that's challenging up ahead, you know, but it looks pretty good. And there are potential bumps, just so you know, as well. But
there's always,
yes.
And I think there's always bumps for everyone. And it depends on now, and you know, the other thing too, is everyone just remember, we're giving an overarching forecast astrologically and energetically. So your chart is going to have different aspects that are going to affect you differently based on where your planets are. So, I mean, for me, I know I've got some Pluto happening, which is very uncomfortable. And I've got Chiron, which is the wounded healer, is conjunct for this moon.
Pluto?
So Chiron is.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Chiron. So, you know, there's a lot of old unconscious, subconscious fears that are rising to the surface, and that can be very uncomfortable. However, there's also this overarching, very positive energy that's involved. So it really just depends on where you are.
Yeah, I'm really glad you brought that up, because Aries is fearless. Aries is the energy. In fact, I can't remember the astrologer who taught me this, but Aries as ascendants tend to be the billionaires. They tend to be, and my really good friend who's like worth $250 million is Aries rising. They are fearless. So we're looking at jumping in fearless all the way, jumping into a cold pool of water, just going, woo, jumping in. All right.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah.
That's not for me. Okay, so Gemini, let's roll on to that.
Cold. Maybe it's hot because it's Aries energy, fire. Ooh, okay. All right, so Gemini, let's go to Gemini. So Gemini, Aries for you guys is in your 11th house. Fantastic. Wow. That's nice to have a new moon in your 11th house. That's lucky days. It's kind of a house where you could win something, you could get recognition, you become known. And Aquarian is the 11th house. Maybe you really, because you had Mars on your sign for so long. Gosh, was it July it went into Mars? Into Gemini, and it's been retrograde. So you guys are definitely going through, it's out of shadow, so things are going forward for you guys. And Mercury is your ruling planet, and Mercury is going to be in a very strong position when it comes out of Cazimi here this week. Interesting. So Gemini are go, 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 lucky stuff happening. A lot of, but you know, you're gonna have Mars is leaving your first house. So I think that's a relief. I think you've learned something really new that you're really ready to launch. You're ready to go for. You're ready to take it out into the public. You're ready to plant a seed. You've got clarity and idea, and it's very successful. It could make you a lot of money. The 11th house is lucky wins. It's winning an award. You could win an award. You could get recognition. You may have written a book or you're writing a book. And now I've done readings for people who have planets in their 11th house, and they're known. They may not be famous, but they're known authors. Their books are out there. So it's like you could get recognition. By the way, a new seed is an opportunity. When the universe throws seeds out, these are opportunities for growth. So you are getting an opportunity. Everyone's opportunities are coming to everybody. But with the Gemini, with the Aries energy in your 11th house, that's a really great place to have the new moon energy. What do you get in the cards now? I'm excited to see the cards.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I was just toggling back to the live to see if anyone had questions, but so far, no questions or comments. But if you're watching, please do chime in if you have any thoughts. So, it's so funny. This card came out right before you shared how Gemini, it would be good for them to share, express themselves in a public way. And this Hong Kong orchid activates expressing yourself. Self-acceptance, activate self-acceptance, expressing yourself. So this is about, this lines up with what you were saying for them about this 11th house, getting out there and talking about sharing more, sharing themselves, sharing their ideas on social media, on the internet, expressing yourself in a book or a blog post or a podcast or whatever that might be for you.
Yeah, they might start, actually, because the new moon is a 0 degree, they may start a social media platform or Instagram feed or a YouTube channel. And then in that 6-month period, it takes off. It's like the right thing.
I love that. That's fantastic for Geminis. So this magnifies the full expression of who they are, feeling comfortable with yourself, and dissolves that fear of being exposed or holding yourself back. So, Geminis maybe have had maybe a little bit of, with Mars in there, they may have felt like they wanted to move forward, but then they weren't really sure because there was the retrogrades and it was a lot of push and pull. And now it's like, right, I'm not fearful. I'm ready. I'm ready to take some action. So the Hong Kong orchid.
So, and you know what else you always want to do, and I forget to do this in these, is you want to look at the house. So this is a new moon ruled by Mars. So your Mars houses are the ones that are going to be impacted. And I always forget to mention this because I get so there's so much to talk about. So, but your Mars houses, and let's just look for Gemini. What are their Mars houses? Their 6th house of Scorpio and their 11th house. So it's the 11th, the 11th house as well. So you are looking at being busy day to day, very busy time, basically, for Gemini. Busy writing, busy thinking, busy on a day-to-day level. Mars rules 6th house. So you're it could be frustrating too, because the 6th house can be a frustrating day of the house of frustration. And illnesses can come up. But I think with the new moon there, you're seeing a solution to a health problem. You're seeing a way out of it. You're changing something. There's a square involved. So you're shifting how you do something on a day-to-day level. You quit something. That's another way to play out.
That's a good thing. All right. So Cancer. See what's going on with that.
Yeah, you guys are moon ruled people, and you've got your moon right there in the sun in your 10th house. Fantastic for your careers, guys. Brand new beginnings in your careers. A new seeding something in your career, and it does change the direction of your life because it's squaring your ascendant, and you're going to have Mars on your ascendant too in about a few days, which indicates first of all, a real energizing, and plus you're going to do a 2-year cycle there, because Mars on your ascendant initiates a 2-year cycle of kind of a new work routine, a new work project, energy, a new, maybe I start working on my property or something like that, but it's physical. You've got energy. I'm going to start working out again and lift weights. I've been so into my studying of my astrology. I just sit there and read, my astrology, but fascinating to me in this Mars retrograde in my 12th house. I'm just studying. But now it's more action time for Cancer, and you've got this. It's probably because something happens in your career, and you could get recognition of some sort. The eclipse on the 19th of April is going to be in your 11th house. Again, that access. So something happens in your career, or a seed is planted, potentially gives you more recognition and prepares you for the eclipse that's coming up. And I haven't talked about that, but next time we will. But that could be a shift in your recognition, notoriety, something, your work becomes more well known. You could get a promotion if you're in a corporate situation. You would get a pay rise, a new client. If you were a lawyer, you would suddenly get a big client. So what else can I look at? So your 5th house is ruled by Mars. So there's a new friendship, new relationships coming in. It is making a favorable aspect to Pluto. It's sextiling Pluto, and remember the Venus and the nodes are conjoining. Good chance they're looking at a relationship, a contracted partnership coming into start your mission. That could very well be the career, shall we say that law, it most likely involves your divine mate. Cancers have done all the work they're supposed to do. They're cooked. They've cleaned because they've had Pluto and Saturn in their relationship houses. Pluto now goes into the relationship house, into the 8th house, which could indicate joint partnerships, financial projects together. A lot of interesting things. We could go into that. We'll do that next time. We'll go more into Pluto and the houses, if you like. But anyway, so for Cancer, you're looking at Moon can make you known, or how you're known or seen. And then also the Moon is relationships, and Saturn, Mars sextiling? Let me look at this. So Mars is sextiling, trining Saturn, while the Moon is sextiling Pluto. I mean, that is very relationship committed, long-term stuff. By the way, these new beginnings, we're looking at a long-term, very long-term, because it involves this Saturn trining the Mars, it's squaring these. So in other words, if you're doing something that isn't going to last the long term, it's going to end up quitting, ending, whatever. And then the new energy comes in. Yeah. What was that it? Or let's see, I lost my other page. So yeah, so that's Cancer, right? Moon rules. And by the way, Cancers are very moon sensitive. So these transits are powerful for Cancer. You are good. And it does square your 1st house. So wherever you have planets in Cancer are going to square this lunation. But if you're at the beginning degrees, by the way, at the beginning degrees, 0 to 3 degrees. So in fact, everybody with 0 to 3 degrees or 27, 28, 29 are going to have any planets around those degrees are going to be impacted by this. Could be squares, trines, or sextiles, or opposition. So I think that's it for Cancer.
Okay. Well, let's take a look at their flower, which I really love this flower. It's the strawberry blossom. Ooh. And this activates optimism, expect the best. And I believe you were even saying something to that effect about Cancer early on when you were talking about them. This magnifies the openness to growth and opportunities, a fresh perspective, a sense of possibility. So I feel like this is really quite beautiful and amazing in terms of, you were talking a lot about career for Cancerians. And so maybe for them, they haven't been feeling the sense of optimism around their work. Maybe they've had this worry, or they've had, it dissolves blindness to possibilities and opportunities. So maybe feel like they've missed opportunities, and now they're able to shift into something different for them. So for Cancerians, expect the best. Know that whatever is unfolding is going to be just perfect for you.
Yeah, because they have Mars trining Saturn. Let me just look at that again. Mars is trining Saturn while Saturn is on my moon. So that's great. Yeah, that's why. Because Mars is trining Saturn, and Saturn is the 10th house. I mean, it doesn't rule their 10th house, but it represents
the 10th house of career.
And everybody's going to get a nice blessing with that trine, by the way. So, but the more, of course, you have a planet there, the better.
The better. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right. So let's move on to Leo.
All right, Leo, you have Aries over your 9th house. So either a brand new, you decide to go to school and learn a new subject, or you decide to become a teacher and start teaching, or you decide to travel, or you decide to shift an entire belief system and become completely shifted in a way, and this new belief initiates something new in your life because of a new belief. So in other words, let's say you never worried about fluoride in water, and now you suddenly see fluoride in water you think is making you less psychic, so you suddenly now drink all this really good water, and you really tune into your psychic abilities, and you do want to start philosophizing. So it's kind of like, if there's a these energies are transformational because of the Pluto aspect to it all, which is a positive transformation. But with Leo, you guys, so let's look at what houses rule. That's your 4th house. Again, you're going to have a new beginning in a living situation because Mars rules your 4th house. So some kind of a potentially creative project involving your fourth house. And plus, don't forget the nodes. I keep forgetting this, the South Node. The South Node is in Scorpio, so we're letting go of something in your fourth house. So you're probably moving, letting go of a house, stepping forward into a creative, something more creative. And then Mars rules your ninth house, new belief system, opening up. Remember, we were talking about that visualization thing where Leos are going to step into their creative imagination, and they're going to want to work with spiritualism more, I would think, maybe, or philosophy, or a universal truth. You know, it's an inspired energy to have that new moon at 0 degrees in your ninth house. I mean, that is a transformation of belief, and that wakes you up. It makes you want to go on an adventure. A lot of Leo might suddenly want to go up and travel, and just, I'm traveling, boom, I'm out of here. That could happen. They suddenly find a way, an opportunity opens up, somebody invites them over to some country, and they go, I'm there. And that Aries energy is impulsive. You don't even think about it. That could happen for Leo. They're fire people too. And then, so let's say what would happen, maybe they start a course, and then in 6 months, they are now qualified for something that or cultures. So the ninth house can be cultures. They could get into a relationship, because sometimes the ninth house is later in life partnership. They could get in because of that Pluto, Venus node conjunction. They could meet their person all of a sudden and go traveling with them, and their mission involves traveling. That could be very well. They go on some sort of a journey to travel the world and take pictures and show the world, and do a YouTube channel, and become a diplomatic, high vibrational Aquarian, pulling the world together energy, something like that. That you know, a lot of very, I would say that because they're fire signs. So what is the relationship between Leo and Capricorn? Is that I'm sorry, and Aries? That's 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, it trines you. This is great for Leo. This is a trining. This is nice. That's a Jupiter thing. So it's like expanding some sort of abundance, and the ninth house is lucky. That's a lucky house. Jupiter is going into weak, is getting kind of weak, because Jupiter rules the ninth house, or Sagittarius energies. But I think for Leo, because that's technically not in Sagittarius, so it's probably great. So I would say this is a nice one for Leo.
It feels like a nice one for Leos if you're open to this new higher mind of thinking, higher way of thinking. So, and this kind of connects in with the card for Leo, which is the date palm flower. And the date palm flower is the message is shift the paradigm. It activates freedom from extremes. So in this conversation, you can be very extreme in your philosophy. You can be way over here or way over here. And it's really kind of this, the way I'm interpreting this card and the energy is that it's more about finding that middle way, transforming your belief system to one that you're open to both sides, you know, and you're open to the possibilities that are available. And this also has to do a bit with balance, you know, bringing in some balance into your life. Like that Aries energy to me feels like it can often be out of balance. There's a lot of fire, and you're like just activated and just go, and impulsive, like you were saying before. And that can work out sometimes, and sometimes it can't. And so, and Leos, as a Leo myself, I know that I can also be impulsive. I can just decide, oh, I'm just going to go do that thing without really giving it some thought to realize, or to even notice, is it something I actually want to do? Is it something that feels aligned to me? But it can be very extreme. So this is a reminder for Leos and our lioness energy ruled by the sun. That's very intense. Just
that part.
It's like, just find that place that's not quite one side or the other side.
because the shadow aspect of the ninth house, when people have planets in the ninth house, sometimes the shadow aspects are very rigid thinking, have rigid beliefs. They're either super, they just can't be flexible, and so this new moon may create an opening, a new seeding of a new belief that they've been rigid against. So I like that card. Yeah, that card works great. That they've been rigid against, which now opens them up to their mission that they were rigid against. That's what that square in Mars is kind of doing. It's like ending a rigid thinking that was blocking you from knowing your mission. So yeah, belief system opening up, that puts you on your true path.
Yeah, feels very, it feels, but here's the key. And I feel like I need to say this for any Leos who may be listening. And also for myself, is that depending on how much groundwork you've done, how have you tilled the soil for these new seeds to be planted, will have a direct effect on how this feels for you. Right. So if you've been doing the tilling all along and you're completing it, you're just now finishing that last little bit of soil preparation in this final bit of this moon cycle, then this will likely not feel challenging for you. You're all ready to go. But if you haven't quite finished and you are in this energy, there might be some discomfort as you begin to shift those beliefs and you come into resonance with whatever path you're meant to be on. So, but that's okay. Like, I just know that it's just realigning you, and you're exactly where you need to be, regardless of where you think you need to be or where you think you want to be. Okay, so Virgo, let's jump into that.
All right, Virgo, you guys have Aries in your 8th house. So it's a new moon in your 8th house. I just want to see what house rules Mars, other house. Scorpio is your 3rd house. Interesting. You may decide to get a business loan and start a business. And you do a 8th house, shared resources, because the 8th house is shared partnership. You may go into a financial deal with somebody, a spouse or somebody. You may start a business with your spouse. You may get a business, refinance your property, or you may get an inheritance that enables you to start something new, an entrepreneurial venture, or writing projects. 3rd house can be a writing project, but again, 3rd house is very much mission oriented. It most likely will play out in the form of an independent business that you're launching. Now with Aquarian, we're really looking at working for ourselves, and not, because with that Jupiter and Saturn conjunction in 2020, December 21, it was about most Aquarian people with their charts at those positions were stepping into their own, working for the self, not the government or not a system, not a corporation, running their own business. And so I think for Virgo, you guys are really going to, also you've got the South Node there. So you're letting go of a toxic business that didn't work out. You're going to let that go. But also with the Aries in your 8th house, you're going to have potentially a financial windfall, actually, because it's in a very nice position, because it has a favorable aspect to Pluto. So there could be some money coming in. Basically, to round it out for Virgo, you've got money coming in. 8th house, and your fears of finances will go away. There's something happening in your finances that ends your fears around finances. And then Virgo, Mars is Gemini. It does square you. You do have a Mars squaring your Virgo placement. So there will be a change of mind. I mean, a Mars square is changing the mind. We're changing our thoughts, changing when Mars is in Gemini, that is. And Mercury is in a very strong position as it comes out of Kavini. So there's this rebirth, this clarity, mind clarity of ideas and downloads and business, new launchings of something. Aries 8th house, you may decide to refinance your house and buy another property, and then start a business at that property, a retreat. Actually, my friend has a Virgo moon that is interested in doing that, so that could play out that way for her.
Yeah, and go connect with someone who has Taurus. You guys would be a good match.
Yeah,
because Taurus was all about that too. So yeah, it's kind of funny.
Yeah, interesting. That's funny. Yeah, Earth sign.
Yes.
Yeah, because Earth is gonna trine a I better not say that unless I get my little drawings out. But anyway, okay, so where were we? We were with Virgo, earth sign, nice. I think then we've got Scorpio in your third house, and then we've got Aries in your eighth. Yeah, I just think that you guys are becoming fearless around money. You've overcome a fear. Something happens in finances that really opens your life up. I mean, that's a really easy way to put it. Go ahead. What have you got?
Okay, so the cards were very sticky, and 3 cards came out, and I was like, I don't know, let's see what it is, because it's not all 3. And you literally just, I was going to do number mapping with you, but then I'm like, wait a minute, as you were saying something, I flipped the cards over and you literally said a word on this card. So this is it right here. Get out. You said fearless. Night blooming Sirius activates fearlessness. The message is take the leap. So for Virgos, I mean, this feels like you mentioned a lot of different aspects for Virgos, a lot of things happening based on all these other things going on around them. Magnifies the courage to take great leaps towards your full potential. And your full potential could show up in lots of different ways for Virgos. So, and also a deeper understanding of all the parts of yourself, the shadow side, and being able to see through the illusions. I think you mentioned Scorpio for them as well. I don't remember what was happening for them.
Scorpio in their third house. So they're going to let go of, because the South Node is there. So they're going to let go of could be a neighborhood. They may move, because I know a Virgo who's actually getting on the plane in a few days to go to Arizona and look at a property to potentially buy. And so then with that South Node in the third house, they might be letting go of a neighborhood or commute. You're letting go of something that you're doing in the third house there.
So this also says it dissolves any subconscious limitations that may hold you back and encourages you to elevate what you're working on in a big way. So that really is a beautiful message for Virgo.
Yes.
So that was fun. That was, I was like, I don't know what to do here, because there were so many cards. I even tried to put them back in the deck so that it would be, and then they'd still keep coming back out. So it was,
that's fun. I
very
love
cool.
that. I love that when that happens. I get so excited. I remember
it's fun. All right.
I was doing a workshop with a group of women, and I had ripped up the temperance card because it represents Sagittarius, and Sagittarius are the least patient people. That's why they get the temperance card. And so I ripped it up in a deck, and I said, I just hate that card. And I said, I don't want that card coming out anymore. And then I had another deck, and I had it at a workshop. I had a bunch of decks out, and somebody grabbed that deck, and I said, that's not a whole deck, sorry. And she goes, and I said, there's a missing card. And they said, why? What card's missing? I said, the temperance card. I ripped it up. And she goes, I bet that's the card I need. You're right. I'm going to switch decks. She picked up the other deck, and she picked up the temperance card. Isn't that crazy?
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Everybody screamed. Everyone went, whoa. And she was right. That was the card she needed to see.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's truly amazing.
Yeah.
So, and for folks who are interested in cards and you're not really, maybe they make you a little nervous, maybe you don't understand, maybe you want just a little bit of guidance. If you go to my website, KarmicKindness.com, under courses, I have a Getting Started with Cards e-course that's super easy, super simple, and it gives you some basic strategies, basic tools, things that I do, which is not by any means the only pathway. It's just a pathway, and just a little introduction with some links to some different things just to make it easier for you. Because I know for me, when I first started on that journey, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go. I felt very uncomfortable and awkward, and I didn't want to mess it up. I didn't want to dishonor the process. And so I had a number of people reaching out to me, asking me for guidance and advice, which is why I created the course. So I'm just letting everyone know it's there. It's very affordable, $44. If you follow me on social media, I'm offering some discounts there so you can get half off. So just letting everyone know it's there if you're interested in learning more about that. So, all right, Madelaine, let's jump on over to Libra, see what's going on with them.
So you guys, wow, you're going to have Aries in your 7th house. You've got a new moon in your 7th house. That's a brand new relationship, partnership, contract, or partnership, because it's marriage. I'm seeing 111 right now. It's wild that I'm seeing that. Anyway, so you guys have a new moon in your relationship houses. We're talking about 111. That's, remember I was talking about 11 there? That's basically kind of twin flames coming together to change the world. And Aquarian is the new age, and that's what that's about. So basically, we are Libras are getting into their proper relationships. It's funny, I did a reading on a Libra the other day, and she was like in floods of tears, and she's like leaving her ex, leaving the husband finally and going to her true person. And it was just such a hard transition for her. So we're looking at, and she, at this point, it was so funny because she just didn't know where, she was like, didn't know where her life was going at all, because her whole life is changing, because she's going to end up with this other person, which is going to change. So she's going to get a job that she can't even see yet, because, and she doesn't, she got fired from her job, like her whole life fell apart because she's about to begin this whole new chapter here. So, Libras are being redirected by this because they got a Gemini squaring. You've got Gemini in your ninth house. You're opening up your minds. You're changing your beliefs. I always forget the Mars square Neptune. So there's a shift in beliefs for Libra, which opens you up to your divine partnership. It's possible that's what she was having a problem with, because she felt like she should stay with the ex-husband and the family and the kids, but they weren't happy. It was toxic. It was clear in her read that she needed to let go, because most Libra have Scorpio in their second house. But what else? She had the South Node. She had her own personal, she was Sun Libra. Okay, I don't know what her ascendant was, but anyway, if you have the South Node in your fourth house, you're leaving a family situation, you're moving, and anyway, so she is at that precipice of a whole brand new life, and that's new moon in her seventh house. Also, the seventh house can be a business partnership, the law. You could, if you're already in your relationship, you will start most likely your mission with your true person. There's a good chance it's going to happen now. You guys are going to wake up to what you were really coming together for, and you hadn't done it yet, and now you do. And then you've got Scorpio in your second house. So you're letting go of one way of earning money and opening up to a new way of earning money. And the old way was toxic and not good for you. The new way is really great. It's where you're supposed to be heading. You really are letting go of, I would say, financial, because Scorpio over your second house means you make financially toxic ways of earning a living out of security based. And so you're going to let that go, because Libra has Scorpio in their second. So you're going to let that go, and you're going to open up, because you're going to be fearless now, and you're going to step into a mission involving your true mate that is a whole nother way of earning money, because you're going to let go of another way of earning money. Mars in your seventh, new beginnings in relationships. What more can you say? You're stepping into your mission all the way, 100% for Libra. It's probably the Libra Aries axis is the two on the cardinals, because your Capricorn and Cancer or squaring are going to have the most shifts out of it, like the most major shifting of their lives. These are cardinal axis points. Having a new moon on a cardinal axis point is just like everything changing. It's like,
so you're saying those with Libra and Aries and Cancer and Capricorn are going to feel this the most.
They're going to have the most cardinal shift. And what a cardinal shift means is like a whole change in season, which is like you get your mutables that change all the time. They're adaptable. The fixed, non-adaptable, they just want everything stable and stuck. The cardinals are neither. They do just one big shift. Cool. That's a way to look at it.
Okay.
So yeah, cardinal shifts, seasonal change, a whole change of life, whole change. Because see, what happens in a cardinal shift is you change your career, you change your relationship, you change your living situation, and you change who you are. It's like all the 4 points, you change. Okay, and you have a new identity, you become a new version of you, you go against an old version of yourself because it's opposing. So you let go of your ego identity on some level, and you open up to the relationship identity, or you open up to the relationship more, or like your mind is opening up, so you open up to what the other person wants, or ideas, all that. So I hope. Oh, did we do the flower for Libra? Not yet.
So here's the flower for Librans. It is the red hibiscus. Let me see if I can.
We've had that one before. Sounds.
I think we definitely have. We've had probably a number of these already, but this activates a fresh perspective. hitting the refresh button. So if talking about cardinal shifts,
Yeah.
I mean, you're
Right.
resetting, you're having a whole new fresh perspective on life, and you're
Right.
literally living from a different place,
Yeah.
a different perspective, or literally a living situation change. You know, it could be, it
Yeah.
could literally be that.
I have my ascendant and descendant at 0 degrees.
Oh, do you really?
Yep. Completely.
Wow. Yeah, that is big.
Yeah.
That's really big. You're going to be feeling that for
And just so
sure.
everybody knows, this doesn't play out all one night. I mean, it takes a little, like,
Time.
yeah,
Yeah.
like all of a sudden, it can be
Right.
that
Not all of a sudden you're like, wait, I'm moving.
yeah, the new moon, I got everything in my car and I'm like, or going on an
Yeah.
airplane. I almost flew down to my parents the other day. So, but yes.
Yeah. So let me just read this one little bit here. So red hibiscus helps you recognize how whatever the situation is going on in your life contributes to your own personal growth and allows you to start anew with a fresh perspective. So if I would say that could be for anyone that has a cardinal sign. Yeah. Just really just see if you can keep that in your mind.
Yeah, because, even if your career is going to change too in this, because you're going to go into a mission with your mate. So I don't know how my career is. It doesn't mean like I won't be working this way anymore, but basically the mission starts. So there's another project that you were designed to do with your other half that will happen. So
yeah, so interesting.
Yeah.
All right, Scorpio.
Okay. Scorpio, you guys have the South Node, and you've got you're ruled by Mars, and Mars is squaring this. So this could be a challenging, confrontational transit for Scorpio. There could be conflict, and it could be quite dramatic and intense for Scorpio. They do need to just, as it were, in this one, with a Mars squaring, they just got to let go of ego control, let go of just surrender, relax. But this is you're really ending an old version of yourself because South Node is there. Your toxic attachments to certain things, really whatever is going on in your life that you have a toxic attachment to, because it could be all around anywhere. It could be work, relationships, anything. You don't have faith in your own ability to land on your own 2 feet, so you're holding on to things to make you feel secure. I would say that's shifting for Scorpio. They're becoming very much more confident about landing on their own 2 feet, and they absolutely will. And they have Aries over their 6th house, so there's a brand new beginning in an area, a field of work. Now, it could be a healing, because the 6th house is like the disease house, so it could be coming into initiating, because this is the energy of initiating a new work for a new job, work day-to-day routines potentially as well around health, or around a work that is around health, or of service. You're stepping up to service, a new beginning where you step strongly into service. With Scorpio there, you have a certain amount of confidence because you've had these eclipses on your 1st and 7th houses where you've become more yourself and you've let go of relationships that were toxic. So now you've liberated yourself from all of that, and you're now ready with the stepping into service. So there we go again with that message. And then we've got that Taurus, in your 7th house of relationship, of course, Venus and the nodes are there. So hello, is that like so clear that you're going to step into a destined mission with your partner, mate, contracted relationship? That's happening. Your destiny shifts through relationships, or your person that you're in a relationship with, their destiny shifts. They change, and then it changes your destiny as well. What else can I say about Scorpio? You are ruled by this Aries energy, and so it's probably very strong for you guys. I think you're going to see a really big new beginning in a work related or medical, or when I say medical, I mean a field that involves healing and also spiritual practices, or both. You could mix that together. You may initiate a business of like biofeedback or a healing practice or medicine, or you start working at a place and you become one of the practitioners there of a healer. But you become, it's initiation. So this is exciting. This is a new beginning. This is a new paradigm that you're entering in your life is going to initiate in the sixth house. So yeah, that's you. What house? Yeah, that is, was I doing Scorpio? I suddenly forgot which sign I was doing.
Yeah,
Scorpio.
Scorpio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Scorpio.
So much information's coming through.
I know.
So it's so interesting with Scorpio. I barely started shuffling the cards and this card just went poof out. And I would say, as I was listening to you, kind of waiting to see how they were going to integrate, you really kind of brought it all together at the very end, talking about the spiritual practices and connecting in spiritually, because this is a card, White Magnolia, which activates spiritual fulfillment, and the message is you are divine. So really, the way I'm receiving this as a Scorpio ascendant myself, it's about awakening to your highest aspirations. That's what it magnifies, and feeling that sense of fulfillment and acceptance with wherever you are, and knowing that whatever is being revealed to you or has been revealed to you up until this point, or maybe in this moon cycle, is part of your divine mission. It is part of what you're destined to do. And it is about acceptance and surrendering to what the divine wants for you to do to be of service. It's not about the ego or the mind, which is somewhat what you were talking about before, Madelaine, with utilizing the mind for what it's designed to do, not what we have been taught that the mind is designed to do. And really being able to access the spiritual guidance and the wisdom that lies within us already. We don't need to seek that anywhere else. We are divine. You are divine, and to follow that mission from there. So yeah, let me just read this one little bit here. White Magnolia inspires you to look beyond the obvious and see what's deeper. Perfect for Scorpio. See what's deeper. It awakens the part of us that is all-knowing and aware of divine timing. So it's all perfect.
Yeah.
We're all divine. It's all happening. It's all working out. I love this because I feel like this message is very in tune with where I am in my life as a Scorpio ascendant. So hopefully it resonates with other Scorpios as well. Yeah.
And if a health, sometimes a new moon brings up a health issue, but that will be, you'll do what needs to be done. It'll be clear, and then you take measures, and then in 6 months it's better. So, okay.
Yeah, and I feel like for me, I've had a couple of ongoing health things that have come up over the past 6 months or so. And then some new information has now come to light. But I'm not worried about it. I feel like it's all perfect, perfectly aligned, and more information is being revealed so that it is resolved, like a little bow, come maybe the 6 month mark or so.
Great.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Okay. So now Sagittarius, you guys are ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter's going into invisibility. So for about, I think till early May, Jupiter's a little bit weak. Your ruling planet's a little bit weak. And, but that's a time to really become more connected to, again, your calling. Jupiter is about your calling. So it's to pull you back a little bit to integrate with that. And it's Kazini with the sun, which means you purify your vision as well. So I would say that Sagittarians are going a little bit introspective, and with that energy, they're slowing down a little bit, but Aries is in your 5th house. So you're looking at relationships coming in, brand new friendships or creative projects, a new beginning in a creative project. and or both, like friends or your person. You meet your person, you get a friendship turns into your divine partnership or romantic partner that you then launch a creative project with. That is your purpose. That is your calling. And then you've got Scorpio. Mars rules your 12th house. So wow, that's a tough one, you know, with letting go. And plus you've got that Mars is squaring and rules your 12th house. I would say Sagittarians are potentially clearing a karmic pattern because they got the South Node there. So they're letting go of a karmic attachment to with that 5th house potentially as well. It sort of liberates you. I would say that they're liberating karmic attachments to toxic relationships. And so they're opening up a new, what's happening for Sagittarians is they're letting go of their fears of, they're just jumping in and they're allowing the creative juices be their guide. Like they're not worrying about money. They're going for it. They're going to start a new seeded project and it's not about money, that energy. And they're just like inspired and excited. Very creative energy. You could have a child, by the way. Get pregnant, literally the seeding, a new seeding, a child. Which then, you know, puts you into the 12th house, Scorpio, letting go. Well, you sort of are potentially, I would say, letting go of toxic things in general because you're pregnant and you don't want to eat toxic, you know, toxic stuff. So, or toxic environments or something. So let's see, Aries there. What else? I'm looking at that's in the 5th house. So that pretty much sums it up. I mean, I could go on with Pluto and Saturn, but we don't want to get too sidetracked.
Yeah.
That.
So with
Venus, let's look at that Venus conjunction for them for a minute. Venus and Taurus. Taurus covers their 6th house. So, so mission involving potentially more service-oriented mission involving your mate. Same message. Yeah.
Yeah, it does seem to be a theme.
Yeah. Yeah, but that would be busy time, busy, which goes to the creative project in the 5th house. Like, let's say you did get pregnant, you had a child, and now you become very busy because you've got Venus and the nodes, and it is part of your destiny to have a child with this person, and now you're very busy changing your lives and your day-to-day practices and your health, and you quit things and you stop drinking alcohol or something, you know. So yeah.
Okay, so we had 2 cards come out for this as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not really sure because they both have like a little glimpse of the energy that you shared, but for very different reasons. So, but they're both pink flowers.
Ooh.
And to me, what I find interesting about a pink flower for Sag is also fire. You're a Sag sun, Madelaine. You're wearing red glasses or red blouse. You know, it's like there's that. But there's your pink.
Yeah.
So, but that to me, pink is like the softer, more subdued version of red. It's got the hint of fire, but it's not fiery.
You want to know something very interesting about what you're saying? And I don't like to interrupt, but it's quite interesting. One of the reasons Aries are the most successful sign is because they're not afraid and they'll wear pink. Aries men that wears pink, you'll notice a lot of very successful men will wear pink because pink is a super high vibrational color and it's super abundant, attractive. And Aries men aren't afraid to wear pink. And that's literally what the astrologers say why they're the most richest.
So and then I know what
celebrity Aries men, you'll see them in big pink big shirt, pink tie, pink, you know.
All right. Well, so then I know which card.
That was interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's very helpful because now I know which card is the card that really is most resonant with this. So when you think of Sag and the Archer, they have that they're pulling the bow back and they're ready. When they let go, when they release that arrow, it will hit the target. But they may not, but they hold on to it until they're actually ready. And when they are, that's it. So when I think about Sag and all the things you're talking about with this fifth house and creative energy and all of what creation means, which is creating happiness, joy, wealth, abundance, whatever that is, this flower, the peony, activates magnetism, and the messages attract abundance. So if you're a Sag and you are working on a creative project, or you are in the process of that, know that you're going to magnetize the right people. You're going to attract abundance, whatever that means for you. That could be financial. That could be, if it's, something related to, I know it's not 11th house, but let's just say if it was related to followers or engagement or something along those lines, you'll have that. There's also a sense of gracefulness with this energy.
And again, I think that sort of represents a fearless jumping into that creative project with a fearless sort of, you're not trying, funding will support, but you're not motivated by that.
Right.
You're motivated by the fact that it's inspiring you. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a different energy.
Yeah.
It's a different energy. So, okay. All right. Capricorn. Yeah, we're moving along.
Yeah, we are. Aries over your fourth house, brand new initiations involving property, real estate, moving, family, a new, shall we say, you could have a child too, or a new car, because the fourth house can sometimes be the cars. Emotional beginnings. The moon is emotional. Fulfilling something that's real, your real home. Yep, I think Capricorns are moving, new beginnings. I do know a Capricorn rising that is totally moving to another state. They've lived in California for like ever, 60 something years, and they're now moving to Tennessee. They're making a big move, big new beginnings. That's what these are. This is a brand big new beginnings, right? And then Scorpio rules your 11th house. And it's interesting. This person I know that's moving is going to start working over the internet. So it's like they're going to start doing their work from a studio, and they're going to teleport it, or send it teleport it, telepathically send their work to them. And so they've got this. They're letting go of Scorpio there, of friendships groups, because if you're moving, you're letting go of a whole group of friends. And you are definitely initiating this again, a cardinal sign. Remember what I was saying, cardinals, this is hitting your cardinal axis. Probably going to get into a new relationship, because you've got, what do you have over? You have Cancer over your 7th house. So your moon rules your 7th house. So it's a good chance there's a new beginning in a relationship that enables you to move and make a big drastic shift and change. New friends. You could start a new social media presence, but also you could get recognition, notoriety, but also a new group of friends. When you move, you meet a whole new group of people, and that's Capricorn, Scorpio over your 11th house. You meet a whole new, you let go of one tribe and you have a whole new tribe. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's something I'm missing here. You have Taurus over your 6th house. So this Venus nose involving your 6th house again. How is this the same message for the last sign? Am I right about this? That was Sagittarius. 6th house. So Capricorn.
Well, you were talking about
oh wow.
home.
Yeah, so they have Aries over the 4th. Why am I doing that? Okay, yeah. So they're starting a new. You may not move, but maybe you start building a home. You could start building your home. I would really like that. I have a lot of planets in Capricorn. Maybe I start building mine. I have a land building project. The meeting that boatman was very helpful, because I have a strong vision of my home that I'm going to build, and I'm visualizing it. I know the knobs. I know everything. But anyway, maybe I get to start building it. Maybe I get to start. So That's what we're looking at for you guys. Capricorn. And you have Taurus over your fifth house. Wow. Wow. You guys have very, very powerful relationships because you have the Node and Venus over your fifth house. That is pretty nice. Again, potential childbirth. That's the destiny between your relationship to have a child together. That's probably what's going to happen. But a creative project, destined creative project, the birth of a project, the birth, a seed in a new seeded new moon in your fifth house is the birthing of something, no doubt about it, the birth of a creative thing, of a child, a project, the metaphor of even that. So, yeah, the new moon is in between your third and fourth, but the nodes being there is activating that mission, which involves your fifth house. So it's a creative project or a child. So yeah.
All right. So this card, I'm feeling like it doesn't necessarily correlate exactly with what you were saying, but I feel like it's a message for a Capricorn or two that's listening in that will help them step into what it is that you were talking about.
Okay.
And there's a couple of people that I'm thinking about with this, where in their life they are in a bit of a transition place. They are pivoting in a way.
Right.
And there is something that is, I don't want to say holding them back, because it's not really holding them back, but it's like they need that little nudge, or they need that little nugget of information, or this little extra something in order to feel comfortable and confident. I mean, they're shifting anyway, whether they like it or not. It's just their level of comfort with it. So this card, the pink lotus. I mean, when you think about a lotus, it's you're in the mud, you're in the darkness, and you're using all of this energy to push your way up into the light. And that can be very uncomfortable, but you know that you know where you have to go, you know what you have to do. With this, it activates divine wisdom, and the message is look within. So for those Capricorns who already know what they need to do, they already have a sense of it, but they don't feel aligned, they don't feel comfortable, they don't feel ready. It's just a reminder that you are supported. Look within yourself and really tune into how you're feeling. I mean, you're an earth sign, so you can feel that, but you're also the workhorses, I'm going to get her done people. And so sometimes it's, you know what you need to do, but you know you need to do something, you just don't know what you need to do quite yet. This is a reminder to really tune into yourself, to know what that is, and then you'll be ready to have this paradigm shift, to have this transformation that's happening anyway in your life occur. It really, I think what it boils down to here is just coming into that deep calm within yourself, and then going forward from that place. And I mean, that again, I think a lot of these messages could be said for all signs. You know, I mean, there's a nugget for everyone.
Yeah, and you guys have Mars in your seventh house of relationships, so you know, if you could potentially, you know, end one relationship and start another. You know, I know a Capricorn rising who is getting divorced, and then they'll probably jump into this other relationship. So that's a potential as well.
Could that also really quickly, to clarify that, could that also be the Mars in the seventh? Could that also relate to a shift within the partner's life in some way?
Yes, because Mars can be a lot of action, a lot of activity. They could be suddenly, like we're doing Capricorn, right? If they move, they're suddenly very, very busy, and they're doing a lot of actions, a lot of activity, and it involves a relationship. So you could be moving in with someone and you guys are moving the whole house around. I remember when I had Mars, I remember I was moving a property, and I mean, I was squaring my Mars. It was a Mars square Mars. And I mean, I literally moved an entire house, not entire house, but like a bunch of stuff in like 2 days. You have a lot of energy. But if it's in your seventh house, potentially your partner is going through something where they have a lot of energy and they're very, very active, action oriented as well around
Yeah.
something. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that could be the case for a few.
Yeah.
I just popped over to the chat, and I'm so excited we're moving on to Aquarius because Catherine was chiming in here. She's a Scorpio ascendant, so she was feeling very connected to that portion. She is a Cancer sun. Her twin flame is Aquarius with a Scorpio moon. So this will be interesting, I think, for her to listen into this Aquarius energy and how that might factor into their relationship as well. So
what was her rising sign? She was a Cancer
Scorpio.
sun? Scorpio.
Cancer sun, Scorpio ascendant.
Yeah.
And and then her
so,
twin flame is Aquarius.
So she's gonna have Taurus over, she's got Venus and the nodes in her seventh house, Taurus. So she's most likely, if she's in her relationship with her twin flame, they're going to step up to their mission. It's going to start happening. They're going to take that. So where does she have again? Remind me where the Scorpio has Aries over. Yeah, they're going to step into service orientation together, service oriented ideas.
Okay. So she's ready to hear about Aquarius sun. She's ready to go. So let's jump in.
So you guys are ruled by the planet Saturn. Saturn right now has moved into sign of Pisces. Your ruling planet has gone into a very watery, it's actually gone into your first house. So what a great time to literally initiate your mission with your divine mate when you have Saturn in your first house. You're going to be working very hard. You're going to have more responsibilities. You're going to have, it's the work energy, or what you're saying, the hard work is happening. Pisces, why am I talking about that? Oh yeah, because it's her ruling planet. So her ruling planet, she could get involved in some sort of a creative, she's going to become more creative.
Well, this is her twin flames sun sign. This is not hers.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, so let's go in on that. So they have Aries in their third house, new business. So they're launching a new business with their twin flame, most likely. A new project or a writing project, because Aries third house can be writing. It's the Gemini house. It's a good chance they're going to get involved in writing, actually. Aquarians are very air energy, and you know, the third house again is air energy. So they're going to be very inspired, ideas, potentially start a new business, a website. They could start their website. They could start writing their website. They could start getting very, very busy in short distance journey traveling because of their mission starting. It could involve moving again because they have Venus and the nodes in their fourth, so they might start a building project with their divine mate. They could start designing their dream house together, and that is their project. They change the world that way. It's a dream house that opens up other ideas around living and property. They could start a family together and a business together, or you start a family with that Venus nodes, and then you work on some kind of a project together in the house, because you could just get busy doing that. What else? So Aquarius, let's look at Scorpio, also rules your 10th house of Capricorn. You're probably going to be, all Aquarians I know are letting go of some toxic career, secure-based career choice, almost straight across the board. And they are opening up to more finding security through investment in property and real estate, actually. That's, instead of finding like a job that creates a security, most Aquarians are finding security through property, real estate.
So Madelaine, Catherine says you know her.
Oh,
Catherine,
yes.
so.
Oh, yes. Is that the person who's asking the question?
It is. Yes, it is.
Okay, tell her I know exactly what's going down. They're going to move into, she's going to move in with him, and they're going to start their little business. They're going to start their little business roaming around short distance traveling, playing music to all these people. Remember, I was just telling you that their ruling planet is in Pisces, and she's a musician. So she's going to be, Kathy, dream come true time. Dream come true. I hope she can hear me. This is
She definitely can. Yeah, she definitely can.
Yes, Kathy.
Yeah, and she was asking about musicians. So you just talked
So
about
when you
that.
count it,
Answered
most
that.
musicians, and I think I remember her chart, she may even have a Saturn or a Mars in a water. I think her Mars is Cancer. Miley Cyrus has her Mars in Cancer. Most musicians have Saturn or Mars in water signs. So,
Ah,
so Pisces
okay.
and Saturn is great for musicians. It's their time. They're stepping up. They're going to become. I remember I was telling you at the beginning of the reading today, we're going to see the arts opening up as being much more dominant in
Right.
the world as a force that we've ignored for so long because we've been so focused on survival. So, and then
Yeah.
people like Kathy are going to be the ones we all sit around and watch we get to celebrate the arts through.
She's saying, yeah, he owns 3 houses.
Ah,
So there's a lot there. So,
yeah.
Kathy, if you're tuning in, I'd like for you to participate, if you don't mind, in the number mapping for this. So, if pick a number between 1 and 3 for the flower card for Aquarius. So, a number between 1 and 3, Kathy, or Catherine. I don't know what she would prefer to go by.
Kathy.
So, yeah, we'll let her. We'll have some audience participation here. So just quote. There we go. She says she's got Mars and Pisces.
Yep. Oh, she's going to have Saturn on Mars. Wow. That's great.
Yeah.
She's going to be very, very, very inspired to do her music. She's probably I actually predict her becoming very well known and possibly becoming a famous person. She's going to be launched into notoriety because she has Cancer in her chart as well. So then that means she's got, remember, Cancers are having that all happening in their 10th house of career. She's going to become thrusted into notoriety is what I predict for her. She's an amazing musician. It's fantastic.
Super exciting.
Yeah.
So Kathy, do you want to pick the Flower Friday card? She says 3. Awesome. Okay, so here we go. I love that you're participating. Thank you for helping us out here with that.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I've had a number of cards of 3s that have popped out of the deck, which is very unusual.
I remember we were talking about a 3rd house being busy, short distance traveling, busyness. She'll be driving to all these 3 houses back and forth, fixing them all up and getting them ready to do performances in.
Well, then this card will really be helpful then, because this card is the dandelion. This activates relaxation and dissolves tension. So if you're going to be running around and super busy, you really need to make time to relax, to maybe get a massage. This is connected with the neck and the shoulders too. That's where we often hold so much tension. So remember to take care of yourself, take care of your body too. There's mental freedom here, and just really allowing you to identify with yourself, with the world around you. I feel like the real message here is really just finding that time for relaxation with all the busyness that is happening in both of their worlds. It sounds like, based on both of their astrology.
Yeah. What is the other Mars house? Mars rules Scorpio in their 10th house. Oh, yeah. Oh, we already talked about that. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So lots of good stuff.
Yeah. I'm excited for her.
I am too. You're definitely.
Tell her, Kathy, I'm going to come visit. I'm coming to visit you in Italia.
Yay. And definitely keep us posted on how it all goes.
Yeah.
And that would be really fun to hear how the twin flame connection plays out and how the music plays out, no pun intended.
Oh my God, when twin flames, it's going to be unbelievable. When twin flames, think of Chris Stapleton and his wife. They're total twin flame musicians, in my opinion. They work, they harmonize beautifully. They can sense the other one, what the other one's going to do. They tune in, they know how to, they're sensitive, they're tuned into, they're musicians. So musicians are very tuned in and sensitive anyway to sound. They can feel where their twin is going to go. They can improvise together. It's magic, pure magic. Fantastic.
Yeah. She said this is what she's, this was her manifestation. So.
Yeah, the ultimate musical experience for a musician is to play music with their twin flame, because it's the ultimate experience in music, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, I feel that. I definitely feel that.
Yeah.
All right, so let's round out this cosmic chat with Pisces.
Yeah, you guys are going to have a new financial start involving money. You're going to have Saturn on your ascendant. So you're going to be taking on a big new responsibility. My son is rising sign Pisces. He is a musician, an artist. So he's going to now probably, you could sign a contract. Saturn often represents contract. He could sign a contract. He's going to be elevated in his career. He's going to be focused on career work. It's very hard work when you have Saturn in your first house. And sometimes it doesn't feel like the fruits are there, but it does feel satisfying. You are on the right path. You are getting somewhere. And let's look at where else they have Scorpio in their 9th house. You could involve travel. It could involve a philosophical belief. Like, in other words, you could become inspired to you're going to open up your mind about how important it is to be artistic and creative, and your arts are important. That's what's going to happen with Saturn in Pisces. So Pisces are sort of going to wake up to, because you have Scorpio in your 9th house, a new belief. You're going to let go of a toxic belief. And I do know with my son, I'm working him on that, a toxic belief about what it is to be a career musician, or a toxic belief around what it is to be creative, or to even just the toxic belief that you can't succeed as a creative. That's going to change for this is the Saturn return generation. They're going to wake up. Most of them probably didn't meet success, because your Saturn return is when you don't want to be too successful before your Saturn return, because your whole life changes. What it was before is no longer. So this generation are coming into their success, but it's hard work. They're going to be more responsible. There's more responsibilities laid on them because they're the new workforce. But again, they're going to be relaxed. They're the more chill, laid back kind of generation. Slightly escapist in the video games type stuff. But they're going to have to kind of grow up. Basically, they're going to grow up, and but they're going to enjoy. It's going to feel good. It's their true work. You're going to do your true artwork. You're not going to be working you may have a coffee shop job on the side that sustains you. That's okay. But your career music is starting to take off. You are starting to, maybe that's why you've got Saturn in your first house, because you're doing 2 jobs. But your other one is gaining ground, is gaining traction on it. You are gaining traction somewhere. And it is going to take you somewhere for the long haul. This is a 30-year, 29-year cycle. This won't happen again for another 29 years. So this is a big time. A big new, oh my God, this guy's about to, oh my gosh. This guy's backing up his truck to the window, and it looked like it was about to come right through the window. That's a message for
Pisces.
Yeah, of like things really shifting and being big and moving forward, and things, breaking through something. So yeah, and you have Scorpio in your 9th house. You letting go of toxic beliefs, opinions, rigid thinking. Pisces can do that. They can be some of the most rigid thinkers, and they can also be very negative thinkers. They tend to tell sort of doomsday stories, repeat. I have to work very hard with my Cancer rising sun on that all the time. I'm like, dude, like, no, don't say that. You got to say positive stuff. And they're going to have to work on that with Pisces in their first. Saturn in Pisces. And there is a propensity for shadow Pisces Saturn to be very negative, depressed, dark. But Pisces have to pull out of that. It's a Mercury based, it's an adaptable, you can change your mind super fast. You do not have to sit around in negative thinking. And my son's always arguing with me, Mommy, but that's the way it is. I'm like, nah, it's adaptable, it's mutable. You can change your mind, you can change that thinking. Snap. So that's what Pisces, you're going to have to work hard at. You're going to have to do that. Aries, well, how did I miss Aries in your 2nd house? I got so into Saturn. I forgot about the new moon. Okay, well,
You started there. You
Yeah.
started there talking about the financial fresh
Right.
start.
So
And that,
it's kind of aligned up in a way. You got Saturn in its 1 degree point, 0 degree point in your first house, with the new moon in Aries in your 1st and 2nd house cusp. So you're really shifting who you are, because you're letting go of a toxic belief system that was really holding you back, that now lets you go forward in a very auspicious way of making money, because to have that new moon in your 2nd house, awesome money. So you see, they're coming out of their Saturn, they're entering their Saturn return years. They're initiating their new careers that is going to last for a good. This is why it's really a nice thing. This is why whatever initiates for Pisces right now is going to be very successful, because you're looking at a 29-year cycle, potentially 30 years. So you're going to be doing this for 30 years. This is your first Saturn, your return, and you're in it for a long haul. Guys, I'm a Pisces moon. It doesn't matter what sign you're in. Your Saturn return, you're in that position for a good 30 years. So this is great. New way of earning money, new income, new moon in your second house, no doubt about it. You got a new way of making money, fearless, inspired. Also, you could be traveling, with Mars ruling your ninth house, and my son could possibly get a contract to travel. That shows up in his card readings. There's an Italian company interested in him. He could go play music with Kathy in Italy.
That's so funny.
She likes his playing
Let's
too.
see.
She's a classical musician and he's just rock, but she actually really likes his playing, so it's great. Anyway, so your ruling planet is Jupiter, and Jupiter's a little bit in detrimental, a little bit weak, but when it comes out in early May, it's go time for you guys.
Yeah, Kathy says she's excited.
Oh, good.
Yeah. She also mentioned, she's like, yes, come. She said, and I don't know when she left these messages because I'm toggling back and forth, but because she said he hasn't called yet, not lately, and then I'm excited. So I think she may have been referring to something else earlier, and then coming back in. So yeah, lots of good stuff. And I feel
I have this little. Tell Kathy this is crazy. I have my Italian deck with me, and look, lettera l'amante.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That is. Let's see if she's still on. She was talking about I think she's talking about your son. Haha, he's amazing.
Oh, thanks.
I'm guessing. So
we'll
about
see. Them, yes.
Yes, she said her son is amazing. Her son is amazing.
Thanks.
Yeah, Kathy. We'll see if Kathy saw the card, because there's a little delay between Zoom and YouTube. So
great.
I'll pop back over in just a second. That's kind of cool that you have that the energy is so synchronized.
I know.
Yeah.
Learning to speak Italian, and for some reason I grabbed my Italian deck just because I was having fun with it. Like, I just enjoy it. It's kind of like, it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of fun. And so it's just so weird. Those cards came out when I was talking to her.
Yeah, that is. So let me just share the flower.
We have the sun and the moon right now in the sign of Pisces. So very psychic energies, Neptune there. So anyway, go ahead.
Lots of good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, and I will say too, the card for Pisces, I feel, is so perfect in it's a supportive energy for them. So if they can remember this as they're going forward in this moon cycle, because I know I loved what you were saying about Pisces being, having their Saturn return, having, they can be kind of this negative thinker, the doomsday stories, the, woe is me and everything sucks and there's nothing we can do about it, kind of a throw your hands up thing. Right. I was literally just having a conversation with my guy about this yesterday, because it's like, just making some small tweaks in the way you think and really just shifting your relationship with yourself just a little bit, so that you recognize when these thoughts come up. And wild hawkweed is the flower. This activates wholeness, and the message is fall in love with yourself. So for Pisces, just love yourself just a little bit.
They tend to have a bit of a low self-esteem thing going on for Pisces, because they're so sensitive. They pick up everybody's energies and they just take it all personally until they become aware of the fact that they're doing that. But I shouldn't say that all Pisces ascendant are having the Saturn return. I'm just saying there's going to be a big group of people with their Saturn in Pisces that are having their Saturn return. I just wanted to make that clear, because I think I might have said that. Yes. It's confusing. So just to clarify it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that is true. That's true. I mean, it just happens that,
but all Pisces rising will have Saturn in their first house. And it is a 30-year cycle. So.
Well, and this also magnifies self-sufficiency. So, as musicians, that could be challenging too. There's a lot of financial
not an easy path.
Struggle.
I don't want to say that, because that's like brainwashing them into the struggle, and you don't want to do that, because that's what I'm trying to pull my son out of thinking, is that it's a difficult path. But let's just it's a path that takes devotion. It's a
Yes.
devotional path. It's a devotional mission. And that's what we're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think that comes back to the premise of this card too, is, and yes, with all of it, but I think particularly, like you were saying, for Pisces, who are sensitive and are emotional, and they feel things so deeply. Feel that towards yourself, bring yourself into that sense of wholeness and love, and the way you love others. They can be such big lovers.
Oh my God.
Turn that back to you.
My Pisces rising sun is a big, just everybody loves him. And he just hugs everybody. He makes music and then he just hugs.
Ah,
I know. He's really nice. I love Pisces.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, so we went big today.
We did 2
hours of astrology and flowers and energy. Yeah. I'm like, I'm so in awe of those who stuck with us. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hopefully those who watch the replay aren't scared off by seeing it's 2 hours.
Yeah. Hopefully they can just, I know maybe somebody will start numbering the points where we change signs.
Yes. Yeah. So it'll make it easier. But anyway, we're just so grateful that you're with us. If you want to learn more about Madelaine or me, we've got information below. Madelaine has a retreat coming up.
Yep. I'm going to be working at this retreat. It's in northern Idaho, beautiful environment, Coeur d'Alene, and it's a very feminine empowerment type retreat. And it's on I don't have a date here, but I will put this information on, maybe I can send it to you and you can put it at the bottom.
Let me know and I'll update it.
The details. Sure. Why do I not see the darn date here? But anyway, that's coming up in May, I think. And really
awesome.
Fabulous retreats. Really a lot of fun. I'll be there. I'll be one of the practitioners. She's going to have a lot of amazing practitioners. So.
Okay. Awesome. That sounds fantastic. Well, you all can find the information from Madelaine and I below if you want to get in touch with us for any support within your life. And we are here for you. Just trying to feel in anything else. I think that's it. Just thank you all so much for being here. And we will see you again in 2 weeks with the full moon in Libra forecast. Yes.
What degree is that at? Do you know? You don't know. It's probably about 14, 16. I bet you it's 16 degrees.
I think you're right.
Yeah, they're either 10 degrees or 16, 15, 14.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I did see that 14, 16 sounds about right. That sounds about right. So, all right, everyone. Thank you so much. Madelaine and I are signing off, and
namaste.
We so appreciate you. Bye for now.
Bye.